All right, great. We're live. Adam, so great to see you on video again.
Brilliant. Yeah, let's make this work and just let's see what feedback we can get.
And we are live here on Discussions Across the Pond, literally for me, because I'm across the pond with both an Englishman and a German Frenchman, and all of us somehow have turfgrass in common. This is episode 4, and I'm very, very, very fortunate and blessed to be joined in the presence of Adam Sedgwick from Soil Scout and Erwan Lecoque from WINSTON Golf. Could not be happier to have him joining us in the last moments. We had to scrap and scramble, but we got one of the most brilliant minds in turfgrass and robotics. So, Erwan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Jason, for having me here tonight, and always a pleasure to be here with you.
So, Adam was really specifically passionate about robotics and how these have made their little faint way into the turf industry. And I don't really know much. I know a little bit. When I was 17 years old, there was these MIT engineers trying to test out the ideas of building an autonomous triplex, but that was, forever ago. And I know they've come a long way. So, Adam, I know that you have a list of questions, plethora, almost suitcase full of documents. I'll let you go.
Yeah, you couldn't be further from the truth right now. We're going to completely wing this. It's off the cuff. Pulled Erwan in as a guest last minute with a last minute subject, but here we go. But I'm quite keen on this subject. Robotics, automation, technology, and the industry's 10-year roadmap almost in that route. So prior to joining Soil Scout, I'd been with a few companies that dealt with GPS in agriculture, automation in agriculture, machine control. And so robotics has got a big place there. Coming back into the turfgrass world again with Soil Scout, a lot of these agricultural principles, which is full-scale connectivity, connect the data, connect the inputs, connect the robotics, connect the control, and have information from the soil and the sky, whichever way. That's the way the agricultural industry is going. The turfgrass community is really catching up fast. And then that's why it's so tremendous to have almost an industry leader like Erwan on with us tonight. Most definitely leading the way in bringing robotics into golf, which he'll tell us all about shortly on his initial thoughts, bringing that in, and also what he's following up that up with, and where we want to see the industry from a forward-thinking superintendent's point of view over the next 10 years. So, Erwan, thanks for coming. And what were your initial thoughts? Obviously, you've come through Penn State and things like that with John Kaminsky, and you've got the big role at WINSTON now. So, what were your initial thoughts? How did you think of the idea of taking the robots onto your golf course and convince senior management and committees that that's the way to go?
So that's a great question. So first of all, I still have a superior over me, and my course is privately owned by the family. So there is no board to go through. The very first idea came in 2018 when I always have been keen into robotics, but it was always like, oh, it would be good to have a robot, but with no real idea behind it. And then we say, oh, we should get something for the driving range because it's such a pain in the ass that we can only maintain it one time in a week. If you miss that gap, you have to wait a second week because you need to collect the ball. Then tomorrow you have to close the driving range. And then so the first idea was like, how can we solve that problem? And the first thing is like, we can take a robot for that. So we take the Bell Robotic, the big mow, which can mow even if there is some ball on the driving range. So we say, oh, let's go with that and see how good is it. And then after a season, we are blown away how good the results are. And we're like, hey, let's take it full scale now to the golf course. So that's how we started here.
No, that's brilliant, and it's sort of the way you grasp the concept and realize the benefits, see how it's aiding you, and then to roll that out in such a large scale. Like you have, how many robots is it you're running now, Erwin?
24 altogether.
Yeah. And what robots are they you're running? Just for everyone watching now, so they get an understanding. There's a lot of robotics out there now, from people like Left Hand, Husqvarna, many people.
So right now on my course, I have one big mower from Bell Robotic. In state, it's sold by Echo. And I have 23 little Husqvarnas. But last year, we had the Turflings and the John Deere as well. So I've got experience with all of them.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, we're non-commercial on that. I mean, we all represent who we represent. But the idea of this channel is to be not really push who we're with, but we've all got a Husqvarna link in one way or another. One little name drop I do want to drop in for anyone watching is a guy called Luke Bateman at AutoCut in the UK. The reason I want to drop his name is that you and I, Owen, have got a link there with Luke. Luke's another forward-thinking guy, and he's trying to take robotics to another level where they're completely solar. So all of a sudden, the robots can be remote. I think you're going to be the first to commercially be running this system as well, are you, Owen?
So I know there is one course in UK that already have one of the solar panel, but we should already have it, but because of the corona, we are delayed. But we will have soon the first commercial exemplar of the solar panel on the Links course here. So to do a test before we go full scale next year.
That's brilliant. So on a day-to-day operational basis, what are the key advantages to go in robotics? And there's obviously there's efficiencies in staffing, but are you finding that you're missing that bird's eye view from the mower seat of what's happening in your turf grass on a daily basis? Or is the condition that the robot's leaving it in, does that outweigh that?
That's a great question. So first, I'm never on a fairway mower, so I never have that point of view. So my only way to assess the course quality is to drive on the course anyway. So conventional mower versus robot is the same for me. I just take a spinner on the course in the morning and I say, oh, that's good, that's not good. I can check on each robot. And then we haven't fully dialed the robot yet. We're close to what we want. So some still have some problem with the growth. We still need to play to get a perfect result. But the main advantage is that every day, before we used to have 3 guys mowing the fairway, 2 or 3 guys depending on the plan, and then for 8 hours a day. And then now I got that guy to do something more, say like fine-tuning task. But I haven't made the mathematics yet, but you don't really offset that because now every couple of weeks we do some extra maintenance because the little Husqvarna, they don't have groomers. So like we had to bring in extra maintenance that we did not have before. So pretty much you outweigh the things, except right now I have perfect fairway 7 day a week.
Yeah. No, that's a huge advantage. Sort of, Jay, coming from with you being a former superintendent, what would be? Let's try and have a look at where you feel again. I know you're a technology guy, so you're all for it, but from a superintendent's point of view, the guys that haven't got robots, what would be their arguments against? So obviously, everyone, the industry pushing that way. But what are the big negatives the industry faces on a daily basis?
That's a great question. I think more than 50% of the population would argue that they don't want to deal with the kinks that the robot might present. Obviously it's technology, so having to deal with a robot not charging right or not, functioning properly, or they can place the not blame, but they can kind of put it back to the operator. The operator is responsible for this, checking the oil, checking this, checking that, checking tire pressure, making sure that things are doing what they need to do. And if the robot stops functioning like it should or knows how to, then does it stop? Does it report back to the manager? Does it do what it's supposed to do? If it runs over a pine cone, does it stop because the reels stop spinning? It's all those little things. And I would say that easily more than 50%. So there's that buy-in measurement for technology as a whole, and not just robots on a fairway, but I think just technology in general. I think being a superintendent is considered to be a glorified farmer, and you're taking care of a plant that's manicured at a super finite level, and they're still old school in their practices. They have their routines, their management, and you're asking them to, hey, trust this little machine that people have invested thousands and thousands of dollars and hundreds and thousands of hours into research, and let it do what another person could have been doing. The folks here on this call, all day long. The folks like Kevin Hoschel who have joined us. The folks like Tim Gravert that have joined us, and a multitude of other superintendents across this entire industry know it and love it and appreciate it. But it's talks like this with folks like Erwan that can hopefully continue pushing out the concept of robotics in turfgrass. And we enjoy this atmosphere mainly because we can hear Erwan's voice. I know some might have a hard time understanding what he says because he talks really fast. None of us can really understand what Adam says because he has a dialect. And hopefully most can understand what I'm saying. But I actually got spoken to yesterday by a superintendent, and he said that he understands his Guatemalans better than he understands me. So I speak fast sometimes. And anyways, I digress from that tangent. When I was a kid, and I couldn't believe that these engineers were setting up a triplex to mow fairways with nobody on it. I'm like, this is crazy. I think there's that scare tactic, like, well, what else am I good for then? We sell drones. Again, we're not talking about company here and pushing products, but we sell drones, and that's the scare tactic. I mean, it's a robot. It's an aerial robot. And superintendents are like, what do you mean? You're gonna take my job? I'm not taking your job. I'm helping you do your job better. And I think if we get behind that, like, if you could drop dollars for us right now, Erwan, like, has it saved labor or has it allowed you to move labor in other categories?
We move labor in other categories. Yeah. And my system is, because of the corona and my machine crystal cable breakdown, we haven't been fully operational, like completely, for that long of a time as well, because for a long period of time, we had to still mow some fairways. We still mow every 3 weeks just to give a good cleanup after the extra maintenance. But mainly it's just moving that part of the staff to a different job, like more hand mowings or trimming the hedges, cleaning the bunkers and things like that. But to jump on what you said, most of the people I speak with, like I got a lot of message and phone call, like, hey, I want robot in my course, but I'm not sure. Is that what's the deal about it? And most of the fear that people have, they want something that's perfect out of the box. I mean, robots are in the market for maybe 15 years with the first RG3, but most of the fairway mowers are like for 10 years maximum, and they want things that have like 100 years of innovation already on it. They want the things that work perfectly. It's like, yeah, sometimes you have to accept that if you are the pioneer, you're going to have to pay an extra price on it. You're going to have to learn how to use the machine. No one's going to teach you because you're the first one to use that machine.
Right.
And then, and there's some fear like that too. I mean, most of the super today, they are in the 45 plus, and then they feel like, hey, I'm too old anyway. I'm not going to learn that new things. No, and then, so I think as the new generation will come in, more open-minded people will take management position and then start to introduce alternative. And I think anyway, we won't have much choice because of crew shortage, and economics, like many golf courses have a lower budget now. And then when you see the price of the diesel and everything, I think you can have forced some people to be like, hey, that's the only step you can take if you want to keep your operation running.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I agree with that. I don't think it's a scare tactic. I don't think it's a sidestep. I think it's hey, you have to harness this and appreciate it right now, or start accepting it in a different phase. Or cost is a big deal, right? I think the cost is a scare. So
it's very scary at the moment. Yeah,
you work for a family-run company. You're a family-run golf course, so that buy-in has to be not just from you because you're the user, but from them as well. And Adam, I think asked a pretty poignant question in the beginning. How do you get those, like, so you're being paid to not just be the manager of the property, but be an advocate of the newer ways of managing the property, to be a steward of not just the turf and the environment, but a steward of their money that they're investing. So I hear it all the time. Oh, I'm not a salesman. I'll never be a salesman. No, you're a salesman. Superintendents are salesmen and saleswomen. You're effective at what you do because you're trying to drive home the passion that you have for the golf course and how you're going to make the property better. And I think if you can put that spin on technology and robotics in general, that's, I think, largely necessary for anyone that's watching this to hear. And so I guess fast forward a little bit. Where do you see this, Erwan? I would say the buy-in is a very small percentage. Where do you see this in 5 to 10 years from now?
I have multiple things. Robot will be very competitive if they can do more than one task. So if you look at the turf links, right now is only a mower, but actually you can put vertical unit as well, and roller, and then lead treatment. So that will be, because as you said, the cost is very big. I mean, the turf links, you speak about 150,000 euros a piece. And then, so if the robot can do multiple tasks, it's very easier to say, hey, it's an investment in like a tractor, it's a tool carrier. And lots, like, the robotic is 2 steps forward, in my opinion. 1 step forward for the industry is like sensors and data management. Like, a lot of golf courses start to be in clipboard, like the Pogo start to be very popular. The problem is it's so time consuming. Like, I can't Pogo my 45 hole every day. It's like impossible. So I think machine or robot that can carry sensor will do 2 birds, 1 stone. And then that would be really what could help people to take the next step. And then, well, obviously more competition. We really need competition in the market. At the moment, there is no competition. It's okay, but there is different robot, but they're not concurrent. You can't compare turf links to Husqvarna. You can't compare even the turf links to the John Deere. Yeah. But the competition is coming. I speak with all the big manufacturers outside. They are all working on a different robot at the moment. So in 5 years, I can say every company will have its own robot, like including John Deere and Toro. And then that will change a lot of people's mind, because right now you come with a new company, Husqvarna, like they never worked in a golf course before. Or you have like turf links that are not known by many people. But if you have that big guy, John Deere or Toro coming, everybody trusts them out of the things. And then and they have like hundreds of thousands and maybe €1 million in development as well. So they will come with platform that really match our need as well. So fast forward in 5 years, I will not be surprised if 1 out of 5 golf courses have a robot on site, actually.
Yeah, for sure. I think the whole bit by bit that the industry is becoming more aware. It's sort of over the years, we go to more and more trade shows, BTME, GIS, any of the regional shows over in Germany, maybe Diesel Dirt and Turf or something like that. And every year one of these trade shows is on, there'll be one more stand that's doing automation, robotics, data. And these trade shows are being driven that way. it's sort of, you're running the robots, a number of robots, and you're seeing the benefits there by being able to utilize staff in a different way. We won't touch on it too greatly because obviously we're about to install your next step on the technology ladder with a bunch of SoilScout sensors. But even that, your approach is different to the norm where you want to learn the activity of one green at a time. So these sensors are about from ourselves at SoilScout, Toro, and others. So by having that data from underneath the ground, having the robots running, what do you think will be your next step to gaining efficiencies? Where do you think the whole industry's going in terms of this? Obviously, one key element is it's not reducing staff, but the staff aren't there in the first place now. So, but we're still going to need them. So, would you agree that by increasing technologies, we're making the industry more attractive to the younger generation to come in?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I speak with, actually there's some university in state in Canada that send me a lot of students because they have to do assessment in robotic or new technology. And I speak with them and they're like, oh, I had a little interest in greenkeeping and, mowing is fun, but some days it's raining, it's not that fun, and later I want to be super. And then they say, oh, no, that we have the new technology, just a pogo, give a pogo to a young guy and he's a hook instantly in the industry. And then, and I think we gonna have more people who have like a data management interest before turf. At the moment, we got like turf nerds, but we might actually get tech nerds that will learn turf. And then we might have some more people. And then just to jump back on something you just said before, you say about the GIS and PTME, like the venue, that will be more and more staying about robot. But that's once a year or maybe twice a year. But I can say I already got more than 100 golf courses that call me and that say, hey, I got that situation, what robot would work for me? And then I say, oh, you should use that Turfnix, or you should use that Husqvarna or that Bell Robotic. And like 15 of them already buy more than one robot. Since it's not like, oh, you should do that. So actually, I think the real change is when more people like me or like Kevin will start to speak out loud and say, hey, that's my experience. You can do it. You can achieve it, And then it's more accessible than salespeople. I'm sorry, I like salespeople like you, but in the industry, we like to trust other supers and other managers more than salesmen. And then I really think that's the change. The more course gonna have the robot or sensors or things like that, then the more we're gonna speak about it, and more other course gonna hear with it, and will catch interest. Because some of them have. I know some golf course, they don't even know how to use a pogo. And then...
that's the thing. It's in the education, a lot of it. And I think that we're just coming to a point, maybe a junction on the roadmap where...
Just to stop you here, it's exactly with education. I was speaking with Elmwood last week. So Elmwood is a university in Scotland for greenkeeping. And they are actually thinking to make a new class on the things just with technology in course, because they want to train turf manager, but they want to give them that technology knowledge out of the school already. So it's all about education, and it's coming.
Well, I think that's where we are. That was my point exactly. It's sort of, we're at that junction on the roadmap where maybe the top end, it'll be the top end to start with anyway. The people like Myerscough in the UK, Penn State, all of these turfgrass institutes, the educational institutes, need to think about coming together and maybe changing some of the curriculum, bring data in, bring robotics in, bring automation in. But they need to be teaching these guys not what to get and how to get it. It's what to do with the outcome. Teach them what to do with the data. What does the data mean? Yeah. So that as they progress up the channels, they're learning faster than the data is progressing. And at the moment, the industry's kind of stagnant in that point. I think we've got 5-year cycles. So we had a 5-year cycle where the buzzword was data. Everybody wanted data. So the industry gave them data. It was easy to get it, but nobody knew what it meant. No one knew what to do with it. They just ended up with loads of USB sticks full of data. But now, where the data gatherers have got better at what they do, they're giving them usable data. So now they're able to take that data and make an action from it that's streamlining their business. The next step then is people like the dashboards, TurfCloud, TurfKeeper, EMS, whoever, where they can pull all that data and show people the savings, put that together. And it's all about making the job's hard enough as it is. The hours aren't the greatest. They're the most unsociable hours going, especially when you're coming up to tournament. So just by having all of it as a tool, it's just going to make the industry a lot easier for everybody.
I think the big word is automation. Like I say, I can't pogo my 45 hole every day. But if like I don't know exactly what about the greenside drones, but like can you have a map with your sprinkler and you will make you a list of like, hey, that zone have a problem, check the sprinkler. I mean, like I have 5,000 sprinkler on my course. I can't check them every day. But if I fly a drone and that say, hey, you got 17 sprinkler, so that's sprinkler, fairway 12, fairway 13, and green 5. Have a look here. I save already hours of scouting on my course, and I know straight where to go. It's making more with less.
It's I think what we're more or less pinpointing here is that it's a collaboration of both the end user, the industry, and us as builders, us as companies, and getting behind it to listen to our customers, listen to folks like Erwan and Kevin and everyone else that we deal with, and building what they want and need, and then educating on a continuous basis through the university level and telling the universities as a company, this is what our customers are telling us, this is the real world life, and this is what you need to teach your students. So when they come out, Erwan can hire his assistant, and he was like, oh yeah, I took a drone class in college, or I took a robotics class in college. I know exactly how to use this mower on the property, and you don't have to invest 6 months of your time in how are you going to use this and how do you apply this to my practice. You already know this as a part of your curriculum. Just like he's going to be able to spot, rhizoctonia or any other disease on the property, he's going to be able to see, the immediate, amendment that we can put forth. So, last question for you, Erwan. I know your time is precious. Adam's time's even more precious. It's nearly, 8 o'clock over in the UK. Was it 9 o'clock for you, Erwan?
Yeah, it is.
I got the blessed side. I'm only here at 3 o'clock, but nonetheless, from a customer side, obviously, I like trade shows. Adam likes trade shows. We mainly like them because we can create revenue with them. We spend money to make money, and from your side of the page, you're the end user. Obviously, BTME isn't happening. GIS isn't happening. These major trade shows that you said, once a year types of things aren't happening. What is that outlook for you in terms of getting your information? Obviously, these videos are great, but how do you see yourself in the coming months and all of 2021? How do you see yourself getting information?
It's a lot of time on Twitter and social media. But basically, we still need to go people to people. So instead of going from that guy at the BTME, I have to go to that guy on internet. And then so as someone like me that's tech savvy, I'm already 24/7 on social media. I know what I want. So it won't change much of the way I will deal because I already got planned for the next 5 years. That's not a problem. But it's a different approach too. Like if I have seen Adam at the BTME, maybe we would have finished the game in a day. And rather it took us 2 weeks to get to what something that's sweet for him and for me. And then so it's going to be different. But I think for golf courses that don't have any resources, that's the problem. So I think we like myself and salesperson like you need to reach more people first, because I know where to look for, but so many people don't know at all. Yeah. They've been at the beginning for the last 20 years, and then that's the only way they learn to do it. And then, so I actually think the difference will be we have to reach people more than they have to reach us.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
Those are great points, and I think that it's a lot less personal. If you go to these trade shows, it's more personal. We can kind of connect there in person. But Adam and I have been talking about that for a while now, and how do we help the customer in the sense of no trade show, and if there's
we like to see the real things. Like Adam was speaking about doing on tour. Like you're not going to the show coming to you.
Yeah.
And then I really think a lot of people need to see that I've never seen the source code. They're coming in 2 weeks, and in my head is a lot of questions. Like how big is it? How deep can I, things like that. If I see it, I will not have any interrogation. It would be done. Look at that. But I really think a lot of people are more physical than mental. But the difference too, if you speak like I did with Adam over 2 weeks, I send him all the information about my course, all the information about my project. So it's as personal as in a trade show, because trade show is a bit in a rush. You have to see everything, you have to see everybody. Yeah. You don't have time to rest and think of your things. When Adam gives me a pricing, I have to think. I'm like, I just can't say yes like that. Yeah. At the trade show, you don't have that time to think. I think it's a different approach.
So we need a trade show every day from a sales point of view. Every day should be a trade show. Don't give people time to think.
And then, I think that's the thing, but I really like your idea of the shows coming to you. If you ever want to come here, if you ever want to come all the way to Germany, you're more than welcome.
Fantastic.
I think a lot of
we might
people
be taking you up on that
invitation.
So in the UK with my UK reseller Rigby Taylor, we're doing taking the show to the people. The show's been taken from them, so we're taking the show to the people. Having a run of shows called Turf Tech Live, running all the main bigger regions. So once we've run down through the UK, we're going to look at then running into Germany, run into France, the Netherlands, Spain, through the winter period, through the quieter period for everybody, and just run this pandemic out. So it's just given us a tremendous opportunity now with this thought process of doing an invitation event, get the right people to come along, so everyone can still enjoy a shake of hands, a cup of coffee together. So we're going to work hard at that. But like Jay said, we won't carry on much longer. Erwan, thank you ever so much for being a last-minute guest for us, and it's been one of my favourite topics because I can talk about it all day, every day. As you're a guest tonight, have you got any ideas what we can use as topics for guests in the future and subjects for the future?
I really can't go and prepare for that one. I'm sure in 5 minutes I will have the idea of the year. But check your message, I will say.
Ideal. Thank you very much. Well, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in about 10 days' time.
You can also just comment on our Twitter post that I mentioned you in recently, and or feedback on the YouTube channel. If you're watching this live or you're watching this, in 4 days from now, you want to give us feedback or comments right in the YouTube channel, then and you want to be invited in, you might even want to talk to me and Adam. It seems like it's fun, because it is fun.
It is.
And and not for nothing, but it's a nice little resume builder. You can put a nice clean video on your resume and just what you're passionate about and how it's helping the turf industry. So both of you, thank you so much. Be very, very safe in this continued chaotic time, and I wish you both well. So,
thanks for having me.
Cheers, Jay.
We are no longer live. So.